folks, how you doing? This is American Liberty Radio Network, American Liberty Radio Podcast. You can find me on AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. How are you? Are you good? Are you good? Hey, it is the 29th of August, 2017. I want to apologize for not having a podcast yesterday. I get in this studio and I see other things that need to be done. And, and I do it and I make it and I, create things and, had a lot of work to do. So, my apologies for not having a podcast. This is Ethan Mikesell with Driven to Madness. Ethan Mikesell, is it Mikesell? Meixsell, Driven to Madness. You can find that on YouTube. Yeah, go look that up. That is so cool, isn't it? Anyway, Trump's getting heat for pardoning former Sheriff Joe Arpaio. Obama literally pardoned, I don't know how many freaking people. Okay. What? Thousands of people? I mean, what did he do? Yeah, so and he pardoned them, he let them go, and, they left Guantanamo, went back to their countries, and, started shooting, basically, started getting back into the war against, the American troops and, stuff like that. So, you tell me, okay? You just tell me. I want to give you a little disclaimer here, first of all, because somebody, a couple of days ago or last week at some point, somebody mentioned to me a few things, and I kind of weighed these things out, kind of thought about these things, contemplated, meditated, all of that, and decided that I would start the changes in American Liberty Radio Network with this. Here's a disclaimer. Now, it's probably going to get a little more, and I'm probably going to write it on the website a little bit, deeper, a little more in depth. But here it goes. My disclaimer is this. Before I go into the studio, and I wrote this like almost an hour ago, let me remind all of you that I have other shows on American Liberty Radio Network, and that what I say on the ALRN podcast, or the Wayne S. Pierce podcast, is not connected in any way to those other shows. I just want to stop right there because I want to remind people also that what I say here, I always back up with truth and facts, or I should say the truth is backed up by facts. And I always encourage you to go out and look at the information yourself. Let me remind you, again, let me say this, of all of you that I have other shows on American Liberty Radio Network, and that what I say on the ALRN podcast, or the Wayne S. Pierce podcast, is not connected in any way to the other shows. The other shows are completely different. Do not judge those shows by what I say in my live broadcast or podcast. Thank you. Again, I may go into depth on some of that. I'll post that on the website, and we'll definitely, go into depth more on that, because things are changing for the network. Things are, I've got some things in the works. I've got, got some options to take a look at here. Got some personal things to take a look at as well, which will affect, the podcasts and all of that. Trying to basically put certain things in certain ways to make it more efficient and effective for you folks out there listening. So, yeah, little things coming up. So through September, August is almost over. So through September, I'm going to be viewing these things as I laid them out. And I will take a look at what's there and what the future is, what the future I can make for American Liberty Radio Network. And I will take it from there. But by the end of September, I will tell you what that decision at that point is. And the one thing that I know is that I enjoy giving you the information. This is an information show. Hopefully tomorrow I'll have somebody on the podcast. Hopefully I can arrange all of that and they confirm that they will be on. But I like giving you information. That's number one. Number two, I like encouraging you to go out and find that information on your own. And usually I chuckle because I know that you guys are smart enough to go do that on your own. And to, dig further and find additional information that I myself probably have never seen before. So thank you for sharing that with me, if you will. The third thing is that I want to make it fun. I want to make it enjoyable for you. I don't want to go on huge, 20-minute rants about, about certain things. I want to get more into the news, more into the subsequent, and I use that word for a reason, the subsequent propaganda that is out there in the mainstream media. And maybe that's the wrong word to use, the subsequent. Let's go to dictionary.com for a minute, folks, and then I'll continue on. Subsequent. I think that's how you spell it. If not, they will tell me. Occurring or coming later or after, often followed by two subsequent events, following in order or successive or succeeding. In other words, things happening after. So, subsequent propaganda. Let me rephrase that and say this. As we look at the mainstream propaganda media, the results of that is what we see today. A completely divided society based upon ideology, based upon philosophy, based upon political ideology and philosophy in that regard as well. And we see a completely divided country. The propaganda has stirred the emotions and egos of these people within society to create that division. There is no other way of looking at it in that regard. And to be more specific, there are people behind the scenes such as Schumer and McCain and Pelosi and all these other ones that are causing the effect which we see as the division of ideology and political philosophy in the United States of America. We see this. Now, what I've said there is basically how I'm going to start presenting things. I'm not going to hold back anymore. I said that in 2014. I'm not going to hold back anymore. And B, I'm going to start calling people out by name. And I'm going to make them understand that they, number one, are not seeing things the way that they should. And regardless of whether or not I can twist their arm to make them see it is not my concern. It's I'm going to put the truth and the facts out there. And if they don't see it, not my problem. And two, regardless of where they stand politically, philosophically, or ideologically, I don't really care. That's basically it. I don't really, when people have a narrow-minded view of something, that is all they want to see. I was thinking earlier before coming into the studio that at some point, as a picture, as an example, I don't know what to call it, an analogy, a metaphor, I don't know. You walk into somebody's room, they have pictures on the wall and they have, their stuff, but all they have, and they have windows in the room, all they have is a TV. They have a couch, they have that, but all the information input that they have is from the data output of that television. That's it. They don't have a computer. They don't have a cell phone. They don't have any of that. Their day basically is them going out to either the grocery store or to the bank to pay bills or whatever, They don't interact with their surroundings. The only data that they have that they see in the world is that television. That's it. That bottom line, they don't have any other means to get any other perspectives on what is going on in the world. And these are the people I want to basically pull from the matrix. I want to unplug them and say, look at the world. Just look around you. Go interact with somebody down the street. Go talk to your, grocer down, the street. Go do something to interact with people. Go to this big old building that has a whole lot of books in it called a library and start reading about past histories and how it is, regurgitating all of that stuff into our world today. And how we are completely echoing everything that they have done in the past, we are doing now. For those that ignore the past, basically are going to repeat it. So how about going and doing that? I've literally seen people turn their back on the truth and the facts. And I sit there just dumbfounded. The truth and the facts is staring them in the face, and they're going to continue to ignore it. There's the door. Bye. Have a nice day. That's all I can say to them, because they just cannot and will not even believe anything is happening that could either indirectly or directly affect their lives. In other words, they're in that room and the only information they want is from that television. They don't want to see anything else. They don't. And I'm at the point and I'm at the point where I just don't even want to talk about those people anymore. I don't even want to face them. I don't want to give them anything. Because they're not going to see it. I just don't really care about the fact that people. Well, when I say I don't care, I do care, or else I wouldn't be doing shows like this. I see those people for who they are, is what I'm saying. And who they are is who they are. Yeah, I'm going to judge them harshly within my own self, or probably tell you that they are dumber than crap. That's who they are. They don't want to see anything else other than what is coming off of that television. They don't want to interact. They just want to go about their day. That's my point. They just want to go about their day. They just want to go about their day. Which for me, okay, go about your day. Enjoy. Want to have lunch? I mean, that's, I'm saying let's interact. But if you just want to go about your day and not, want to sit down with me and talk with me because you know how I am and whatever, and you don't want to, as I keep hearing this, I don't want to hear it. I hear that a lot. So if you don't want to do that, that's fine. Go about your day. That's okay. Folks, American Liberty Radio Network is here for you. And I know because I know that people are listening because I get statistics. And I see it weekly and I see it daily sometimes. So thank you, folks, for listening. I appreciate that very, very much. And I'm happy that you guys are listening. And I'm happy that you have a keen sense of and a very open nature to want to learn. I really do appreciate that. I don't get any interaction with you guys because I don't get anything in my email. I don't get anything on American Liberty Radio Network on Facebook or American Liberty Radio Podcast on Facebook. But I'm being heard in not only the United States, but I'm being heard in the UK, in France, in Iceland. I'm being heard in Paris, France. Get that. And Manchester, UK. Thank you, Manchester. Awesome. By the way, I got some distant relatives in England and in the UK. So, yeah. And I'm being heard in Columbus, Montana, which is not that far away from where I'm broadcasting in Billings. And thank you, Columbus. I appreciate that. I appreciate that a great deal. And, of course, Billings, Montana. I'm being heard. Thank you, Billings. If you have, if you're a small business and want to advertise in the local area, contact me. More than happy to have you advertise on my network. That'd be fantastic. So it looks like Spreaker has changed a few things around on their page. Go to Spreaker.com. By the way, speaking of which, before I go to the bottom of the hour break, Spreaker and Blog Talk Radio has merged. Yes, they have merged. So let's see what happens with that endeavor. I left Blog Talk Radio because of the price. That's number one. I left Blog Talk Radio because of the price and because of how the layout was. You can only do one show a day, and that was it. It's like, no, that's bullcrap. So, and they wanted to charge twice as much as what I'm paying now. That was an additional bullcrap. So that's why I came to Spreaker, because I can do as many shows a day as I want. for half the price. And guess what? I am happy. So let's see how this unfolds for the future of the podcasters and broadcasters here on Spreaker. And, yeah. So, guys, Francesco, good luck. You raise the prices, we're going to find some other way to do podcasts. There's always Mixcloud. There's always SoundCloud. There's always other places. So, you guys better work it out yourselves and make it better for the hosts. Or just like many people that I've talked to who were once at Blog Talk Radio, they left for a reason. So don't give us a reason to leave. I'm just saying. I'm just putting it out there. So, anyway. Speaking of mergers, Amazon and Whole Foods have merged. That's always awesome. Well, I knew they were going to merge probably like 6 months ago because I heard on the fringes of the independent media that Amazon was looking at Whole Foods. And so, voila, they now have Whole Foods. And Spencer Hughes over at spencerhughes.net said that he went into Whole Foods and he saw immediate changes, which were, as far as he was concerned, for the better. So, and this was in the Sacramento, California area. So, spencerhughes.net, go there. Spencer Hughes on Facebook, go check him out. Tell him I sent you. Tell him Wayne Pierce over at American Liberty Radio Network sent you. So things are changing, and so is American Liberty Radio Network. I'm looking to have people advertise on the network, so if you are so inclined to consider that, that would be awesome. But also you can donate. Go to the sponsors page on the website at AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. Go to the sponsors page. 2 links down below. Become a patron or a PayPal link. Again, certain things on the website are going to change, and I'm still working out some options on that one. So, but if you want to advertise on the network, hey, it's a win-win situation for both of us. So, there you go. So, please consider it. If you have any questions, obviously, you can ask me. AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. That's the email address. I know I speak way too fast when I say that. AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. There you go. So anyway, coming down to the bottom of the hour break, I've got enough time to read an article or part of an article to you. I'll put it up on American Liberty Radio podcast for you. I don't let me say this. I like my friends. Sometimes my friends irritate me. Sometimes, most of the times, they don't. But sometimes, as you know yourself, speaking with your friends, you just want to just like grab them and shake them up and, and wake them up to the reality that you know, right? I mean, you understand this, right? There's a couple of things. First of all, I'll give you this. SHTFplan.com, you know what that means. SHTFplan.com. Green Beret. A Green Beret says, a full-blown civil war is materializing. Nobody will be able to retreat to a neutral corner. The country is committing suicide as we speak. The push for revision and redaction in all of the history books has been on for some time. Now we're seeing actual mobs of demonstrators surrounding these historical statues. The push is on. On August 19th, demonstrators in Detroit gathered to protest and demand the removal of a statue of Christopher Columbus. In all major cities, the push to remove these statues along with protests continue. says read more. I will put that on American Liberty Radio podcasts on Facebook. Yes. I want you to take a look at this. And I'll tell you some of the idiocy behind some of these politicians. Steve Watson, Infowars.com, 29th of August, 2017. A professor at the University of Tampa said this: Hurricane Harvey, is karma for Texas voting Trump. Tampa professor forced to apologize for saying Texans deserve storm chaos. As reported by Campus Reform, Kenneth L. Story, a professor of sociology, tweeted Sunday, quote, "I don't believe in instant karma, but this kind of feels like it for Texas. Hopefully this will help them realize that GOP doesn't care about them," unquote. When Story was called out on the hideous tweet, Story responded saying, quote, "only blaming those who support the GOP," unquote, further adding that in his opinion they should, quote, "do more to stop the evil their state pushes," unquote. When he was asked what he thought of Trump supporters in Florida, Story responded, quote, "Yep, those who voted for him here deserved it as well," unquote. And it shows all the tweets. Story has removed his profile photo and seems to have deleted around 72,000 tweets. Yeah, because he was called out for his stupidity. That's just the bottom line, okay? It was just the bottom line. Well, that's his opinion. It doesn't mean he's stupid. No, he's stupid, okay? What did your mama tell you? What did your grandma tell you? Think before you speak? Well, this professor obviously didn't think before he got up in the morning, before he left the house, before he had his coffee. Story wasn't the only one who attempted to immediately use the chaos caused by flooding in Texas to attack the president and the GOP. Broadcasts from MSNBC and CBS heavily featured discussion about the president planning a visit to Texas and argued that it is too soon and will only serve as a unhelpful distraction. Yeah, that's MSNBC, those people over there. It's up on American Liberty Radio podcast, American Liberty Radio podcast on Facebook. Now, I want to go to break here momentarily, but I will remind you that it's easier to go out and to grab all this information that's out there and take it in and learn from it and assess it and draw your own conclusions on it than it is just to sit there with your blinders on and not give one rip about what's going on. I just want to remind you of that, because I think that there's a lot of people out there who really don't care. They really do not give one freaking rip about what's going on. And what really, I mean, I got a message coming up here at the after the bottom of the hour break, but I really don't think it's an advantage for people not to care. I think they really need to go out. If a Green Beret is saying that a civil war is imminent, get up off your ass and go learn some things, okay? I'm just saying, because I don't know, man. I don't know. I'll be back in a little over 2 minutes. This is American Liberty Radio Network, AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com.
Late Night in the Midlands is an alternative media that covers the truth, theory, and fact that the lamestream media won't talk about. We cover everything from the known and the unknown, the normal and the paranormal, the government lies and the government ties, and even their thrive. We tell what's coming, what's going, whether it be politics or archaeologists. We have an amazing fan base, and our shows are all archived to be heard millions of times more. So tell your friends, your family, and anybody you care about LateNightInTheMidlands.com. Become a member and be informed.
Growing up terrestrial radio, the future is here. Destroying the liberal media one truth bomb at a time. Independent media is shattering the liberal national security media into a million pieces. Their views of the world are based on the script the government gives them. Independent media seeks out and finds the truth and reports on what is truly going on behind the scenes. Support the truth and facts. Support independent media. American Liberty Radio Network. When you absolutely, positively don't want to hear any more bull, listen to American Liberty Radio Network. AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. Hey, folks. Welcome back. How are you? 29th of August, 2017. The music you're hearing is from Silent Partner. It's called Tight Perm. You can find that on YouTube as well. It's Silent Partner, Tight Perm. Yeah, go check that out. Yeah, I got a message for some people, and I'm going to say this right now, actually. There were certain things, and let me take you to what I've posted on my own page. And I'm going to say this in regards to what I've posted earlier about almost an hour ago. I understand that people care. I understand that people understand what's going on. I view those people with a very open mind and a very understanding spirit, understanding heart. I understand, I discern what they tell me, and I understand what's going on. And I understand that they care. So I'm focused on those people. But there are people out there that absolutely don't really give a rip. And they'll tell you, oh, it's not that I don't care, which you can add anything after that you want. It basically means that they're going to ignore everything else. At least that's my perspective. So what I posted was this. And you can go to Wayne S. Pierce on Facebook. That's my personal Facebook page. You can check it out for yourself as well. And I'll read it to you here. I just saw a reply to a post I made. Without going into detail, this person that replies does not care what is happening. At least that's my perspective. Oh, if it's on the internet, it's got to be true, huh? I've heard things like that since the 1970s. Oh, if it's on the news, it's got to be true, huh? Same old tired excuses for not doing any research whatsoever. From now on, without hesitation, regardless of the consequences, and within reason and using a bit of discretion, I am going to start calling people out by name or location. Don't like me now? Out of 240 friends on my list, I can still lose a few and still be able to sleep at night. Now, a friend of mine responded. And this is exactly what I was saying. I'm only going to read a couple of lines of what my friend responded with. Ignoring the obvious and not believing the truth and the facts. I'm going to, and again, I'm using discretion here. I'm not going to reveal names. You see what I mean? Certain cases require discretion. So I will use discretion. My friend said, I choose not to believe all the Trump propaganda. You may not consider that, but I do. As for research, you really don't know what I do and do not research. You just assume that since I don't agree with you, agree with what you think, that I don't care or pay attention. Nothing can be further from the truth, actually. And this person goes on to say, I see where our country is headed thanks to the current administration, and it terrifies me. I just choose not to constantly post about it. And this person said, I genuinely keep my mouth shut when you call me out, this person told me, like this without saying my name, but it's frustrating that you don't respect others' opinions that differ from your own. That is completely false. I'm going to say that right now. I do respect other people's opinion. I just say this. You got an opinion? Great. Put your information on the table. Let me know what your opinion is. Put your information. Give me the documents. Give me the background of why you say what you say. Show me the information as to why you say what you say. If you cannot do that, there's the door. Bye. Have a nice day. And then they go on to say, your research partly based on people like Alex Jones who say whatever they want regardless of the consequences for ratings. I may not agree with you all the time, but I do respect that you do show that when you do a show, you don't say things just to get ratings. You actually believe them, unlike those other people on both sides. Does that make sense? I'm not out for ratings. I'm not out to set trends. I'm not out to, get as many people to this channel as I possibly can. I literally enjoy doing what I do, and I appreciate you listening. I don't care if it's 5 people, 500 people, or 5,000 people. I enjoy you listening, and it takes one person. Now, you know about math. You tell one person something, they go tell 2 people, and one of those people is going to go tell somebody, and it goes on from there. You tell one person, they tell 2 people, 2 people tell 4 people, 4 people tell 8 people. You get the point, right? So I thank you for listening. I appreciate you listening. Like I said, if it's 5 people, 500, 5,000, 50,000, doesn't matter to me. You guys are listening. I appreciate that. Now, for those, that really want to know, that really want to continue to hear what I say, great. Come to the website at AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com or listen to this show on a daily basis. That's fine. Great. Wonderful. Give you a virtual high five because you guys rock. Thank you. I'm not looking for ratings. Now, if I was on XM or XM Sirius or iHeartRadio or whatever, yeah, then I'd be concerned about, ratings and sponsors and all of that. Right now on the 29th of August, 2017, not so much concerned about that. Probably won't be. I just enjoy doing what I do. And if you want to sponsor, if you want to, advertise on the network, that's entirely up to you. If you like what I do, great. If you just want to listen, that's great. I'm fine with that. All right? They go on to say a few other things. But I'm just at that point where I'm literally, and I don't use this word very often, but I am flabbergasted by people who literally assume anything about me without ever sitting down and talking with me. And I don't care if you've known me 10, 20, 30, 40 years. I don't care. There are certain things about me that I will not share to people. They can ask me all day long. They can make presumptions and assumptions and interpret things any way they want. I don't really care. I know who I am. I know the person I am. I know what I believe. And again, using discretion, this person actually does not literally know who I am. And I've known this person for probably a decade or more. But they still don't know. They still don't know. They still don't know. And again, I talked about that metaphor, that analogy where you're in that room with people, they have a window in a room, they got the TV, and the only data they get is from that television. Nothing else. They go to the bank, they go to the store, they go to a friend's house. All they get, if they want their information, is from that television. Kind of reflective of the stories or the story of 1984 written by George Orwell. It's kind of like that short, I want to call it a short broadcast. I think it was on Amazing Stories years ago. Steven Spielberg produced that show. And I think it was Steven Spielberg. I don't know, but go to YouTube. It's on YouTube, and it's called The Pedestrian. Go look that up. The Pedestrian. It's kind of like a rough draft, prelude, whatever. I don't know. It's a story that was basically expanded into what we know as Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. Okay? The Pedestrian. Go look that up on YouTube. And you'll see it. It stars David Ogden Stiers, who was Charles Emerson Winchester III on MASH years ago. The Pedestrian. It's on YouTube. Check that out. That is exactly what I'm talking about. The only information that certain people want is coming out of their TV. They don't give a crap what's going on outside. And whether or not I understand that this person does or does not research, I don't really care. I don't really care what they do. I care about them as a human being. I hope that people around them will protect this person. But whether or not they're going to sit there and tell me that I don't know what they research or what they don't or whatever, or they're going to presume that all the information I get is from Alex Jones. No, I get it from RT. I get it from Breitbart. I get it from Sean Hannity. I get it from Glenn Beck. I get it from Rush Limbaugh. I get it from MSNBC. I get it from CBS, ABC, NBC, CNBC. I get it from documents from the United Nations, from the United States government, from, shall I go on? No, I think I've run that. I think I've run that into the ground enough, huh? So don't assume anything. Don't assume anything at all. If you have a question in your mind, don't ask anyone else. Go out and find the information on your own. And start where you start. Don't go, I'm telling you straight up, I don't have all the answers. I may have overlooked something. I may have to go back, into my research from 10, 15 years ago and take a look at what those things said then as compared to what it is today. And you know what? I may, like I said, may have overlooked something. I personally do not adhere to a thought of, I'm going to ignore this and accept this. I don't. I look at it all and go, quite interesting. Let's take a look. Why do you think I've said that there are certain people who only want the information coming out of their TV? Because I know I was one of those people. I was brainwashed by that propaganda coming out of there until I unplugged myself from all of that and spent damn near a decade, doing what I did for myself, with myself, in terms of meditation, contemplation, studies, looking at all of that. Give you a bit of that, and that was, I would go out, when I was living in California, I would go out in the backyard, sit in a chair, and just contemplate life, just meditate on the senses that I was feeling around me. As my dog would look at me kind of strange, but I would just meditate. Call it yoga, call it whatever you want. I would just be there in that moment. Almost a decade, folks. It took me that long to get rid of all of those things that embedded themselves within me from everybody else telling me I have to think their way. I have to be like them. I have to be a carbon copy of who they are. And, it's tradition. We've done it this way for many, many years, and there's nothing wrong with it. Really? Years later, when I pointed out that there was something wrong with it, they'd call me a conspiracy theorist or whatever phrase they wanted to use at that time. You see a little bit of what I've done? And I enjoy coming to you and talking with you. I really do. I'm not out for ratings. They're going to say that, everybody's going to say that, Alex Jones says what he says for ratings. No. How about doing some research? No. He's had more sponsors leave his network than he's acquired. And he's acquiring more sponsors because of his truthfulness and honesty. So, no, go do some research. I'm going to shut my friend down right now. Go do some research. Don't even sit there and tell me I'm wrong, because I'm not. Even though I may have overlooked something at this moment in time, I'm not wrong. So, have at it. I mean, the barn door is open and things are getting out. It's called The Truth is Being Revealed. The facts are backing it up. And ain't no way anybody's ever going to stop it from now on. And I, honestly, as I said in my statement there on my personal page, out of 240 plus friends I got on my list, I'm not going to lose any sleep if I lose a few. I'm not. Doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter. Because I know that there are people out there who want the truth, who want the facts, who want to see what is actually happening and not, listen to that bull crap coming out of that, as they call it years ago, the boob tube. And that's what it is, because it turns you into a drooling, mind-numb boob that is dumber than a box of rocks. By the way, that is also, I say that in that way, but there is a proven psychological documented fact that the TV with its flicker rate causes you to be hypnotized to what is happening on that screen. It's already been proven. It's already been documented. But see, certain people won't research that. They'll just say, oh yeah, just because you saw it on the internet. No, I've known this since just after I graduated high school many years ago. So no, I got on the internet in 1995. So I had over 20 years of research up to that point. So, no. So go away. Go play with your little propaganda toys and go get mind numb by that crap that you listen to, because I know what I'm talking about. Now, regardless of anybody telling me that I'm wrong, well, then all I got to do is say to you, prove it. You can't. You don't want to, because you know you're wrong. So there you go. No one knows. I don't share a whole lot with people because I don't want them taking advantage of me or using my words against me, which, of course, some do, some don't. And I think everybody who's smart enough, who sees what's going on and who knows their friends as well as they do, knows for a fact that they can say certain things and be okay. But they also know that certain things that are said, they know for a fact their friends are going to take it and use it against them. Even their loved ones. They're going to take certain things and they're going to, you're going to say something and your loved one or your friend or your family member or whatever is going to use that against you. It is a common thing that happens. But how are you going to react to that? Me, as I said before, I'm at that point. I'm right there at that point where I'm going to open the door. I'm going to walk out and let those people who think that I am, whatever it is they think I am, I'm going to let them believe it. Just go ahead. Just talk amongst yourselves. I know who I am. You guys can go screw yourself because I really don't care. I know who I am. I know what I am. I know what I know. I have what I have in my life because I've acquired the knowledge to be able to create the capacity in my life to build that ability for me to achieve those things. In other words, I learn every day something new. Mama didn't raise no fool. Grandma taught me better. My mama said, and I'm going to paraphrase, my mama said that if you're going to talk about something, you better know what you're talking about. I'm going to add to that and say, you want to talk to me about something? You better have the information to put on the table so we can talk about it. If not, there's the door. Bye. Have a nice day. There's the door. Bye-bye. Enjoy. And remember what I said about just walking out and closing the door and letting people believe whatever they want to believe. That's fine. And by the way, I'm going to say this, and it doesn't really affect me one way or the other. So if you're on my friends list on Facebook at Wayne S. Pierce on Facebook, and if you're on my friends list and you don't like what I say, or if you're tired of what I say, or you don't really care about what I say, exit, stage left. Yeah, just get off my friends list. It's not going to affect me one way or another. I'm going to be doing some around the 1st of October when I make some decisions, and I'll share that with you. I'm going to be cleaning off that friends list big time. And I'm going to message people on that list and say, I'm cleaning off my list. Do you want to stay? If they say yeah, they ain't going anywhere. But if they don't answer me within 24 hours after I message them, they're gone. That's just the way it is. Not because I want people around me that believe the same thing. No, I want people around me that have at least some ability to be able to hold a conversation with me and to bring their information to the metaphorical table of debate, and we can discuss it. And if people disagree with me, okay, fine, but at least the information's there as to why you disagree with me. That's okay. I'm fine with that. I'm okay with that. It's fine. I'm good. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. It's no big deal. It's no big deal. So anyway, I chatted for the last, I don't know, what is it, half hour? Shared with you one article in the last half hour. So guess what? I'm going to take a few minutes after the top of the break to share with you more of the articles that I wanted to share with you in the last half hour. So stay tuned. I'll be right back. This is American Liberty Radio Network, AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com.
A world where everything seems to be upside down and backwards, and all hope seems to be lost. There's one voice sharing the truth, revealing the facts, without all the bullshit. American Liberty Radio Network. AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com.
The History of America Abridged.
Excuse me?
That's right. The History of America Abridged. Nova Center for the Performing Arts presents The History of America Abridged. Who really discovered America? Why did Abe Lincoln free the slaves? How many Democrats does it take to screw in a light bulb?
What?
Nova Center for the Performing Arts will answer those questions and more.
I hope so.
They will. May I continue?
Yes.
That's The History of America Abridged, presented by Nova Center for the Performing Arts. For more information about dates and times and tickets, contact Nova Center for the Performing Arts on their website at www.novabillings.org.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I am wondering, why are you here? True or do not, there is no try. True, there is no try. True or do not, there is no try. I am wondering, why are you here?
Sharing the truth one fact at a time without all the BS. American Liberty Radio Network. AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. Create your own podcast. Spreaker.com has it all. Set up your account and get ready to record podcast or host live radio shows from your computer or mobile device. Spreaker's wide range of tools covers every step of the podcasting process, from simple recording and broadcasting apps to analytics on your audience. You can upload files or migrate content over using the RSS importer. Host your show today. For more information, go to Spreaker.com. Hey folks, welcome back. This is the 29th of August 2017. This is the American Liberty Radio Podcast. How are you? How you doing? Hey, you guys rock, man. Email me, AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com. And you can also go to the website at AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. One more time, AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. I just don't, I don't get it, folks. I don't get it. We have politicians that seem to think they know what they're talking about. We have establishment politicians who think they know what they're talking about. And when I say establishment, I'm talking corporate fascism, okay? I'm talking the Progressive Party, which consists of the Democratic Socialists and the Republican Fascists. I'm talking about politicians that are bought and paid for, and those offices are, the rents on those offices, if you will, are paid for by the corporate elites and people like George Soros and people from the Rockefeller Foundation, and you name it. I mean, you just go down the list. Paul Joseph Watson over at Infowars.com, 29th of August, 2017. Air Force vet slams Paul Ryan for defending Antifa, or whatever, Antifa, I think it is. Quote, how can you call them anything but what they are, domestic terrorists, unquote. And that's what they are, folks. Just, 2 days after the violence in Charlottesville, Ryan posted a Facebook update in which he lashed out at Donald Trump for saying that both sides were responsible for violent unrest. Quote, there are no sides, unquote, wrote Ryan. Quote, there is no other argument. We will not tolerate this hateful ideology in our society, unquote. Ryan has failed to condemn Antifa despite the group's many violent attacks on Trump supporters, the vast majority of whom are not neo-Nazis or white supremacists. An anonymous Air Force veteran has responded with a powerful letter which warned Speaker of the House Paul Ryan that Trump supporters were perfectly willing to vote him out of office, meaning Paul Ryan. The letter is there. Name has been deleted. But there you go. That's going up on American Liberty Radio podcast for all you guys to check out. I really want to put it out here right now. I do not apologize for what I say. Now, I do happen to be fully aware of the fact that I do say things in certain ways. Mannerisms, attitude, okay, I get that. I could say things differently, couldn't I? But I'm not. This is the most politically incorrect show you will ever listen to. I don't apologize for what I say, but I will apologize for how I say it. If I'm pissed or whatever, that's fine. A lot of that is definitely, I'm going to be contemplating on a lot of stuff, meditating on a lot of stuff. And in October, I'll tell you more about that. In Sweden, court refuses to deport migrant who raped mentally disabled child because he, quote-unquote, felt bad. Authorities lenient on migrant molester because he suffered hardship in Afghanistan. A court in Sweden has refused to deport an Afghan migrant who raped a 15-year-old mentally disabled girl for an hour and a half because he was in a, quote-unquote, bad mood about it afterwards and had suffered hardship in his home country. 2 migrants kidnapped and brutally raped a girl vaginally, orally, anally in the middle of winter in the Arlöf area of Sweden. The girl is now frightened of going outside and is petrified of men. And I'm going to let you read the rest of that because it is, and sorry for being so graphic in the beginning there, but it goes on. And this is the kind of crap Sweden has to put up with. I'm going to say this. Years and years ago, I was when I was in high school, actually when I was in junior high school, we were talking about multiculturalism, and they were asking us, and this was back, folks, quite a while ago, and we were asked about multiculturalism, and this was in the 70s. And my first thought was, why should we talk about it? And when I got into high school, I realized why they were asking us that when we were in middle school. Can you say divide and conquer? Can you say taking the narrative of the day and using it as a tool to divide people? Because, you know, not 10 years prior to that, you had certain known figures in politics and civil rights be murdered and all of that, you know, and everything that coincided with all of that in the 60s and early 70s. You've seen all of that in newsreels and news clips and, you know, all of that. If you've lived through it, you know what I'm talking about. I was a young kid when I saw this stuff, but it affected me a great deal, and it made me think about that particular incident of that particular era. And when I got into high school, I realized now I know why they asked us about multiculturalism. It's a tool that they use, that the elites, the progressives use as a tool to divide and conquer, to use race as the catalyst for that division, to use ideology as part of that tool for to divide the rest of the nation. We understand this. We know this. The people that think, that are intellectual, that are authors and writers and bloggers and vloggers and independent news people, we understand this. We know this. And it's not just in the United States. It's everywhere. In Sweden. Look at what I just read. Because of the hardships that people have, the effects are either locally, regionally, or national, or international. You see how that works? Do you get it yet? I want to say this. There were certain things in the past several years that I really started looking at intently. And that would be any of the performers out there, any of the entertainers out there, any of the Hollywood elites out there. I began to look at them and I began to see where they were coming from. I used to like certain people. I don't like them anymore. As a matter of fact, I just despise anything that they do anymore because of what they say, because they're using their platform in the entertainment business to propagate their bullcrap. And that is exactly why I want nothing to do with them anymore. And if they're in a movie and whatever, it's not like I'm not going to watch their movie. It's not that I'm going to go watch their movie. It's not, you know, it's discretion, folks. I used to like Whoopi Goldberg. I don't like her anymore. I used to like Rosie O'Donnell. She said a few things that I was kind of on edge there. She's still, you know, but compare Rosie O'Donnell with Roseanne Barr, and I'll tell you what, I'll listen to Roseanne Barr more than I'll listen to Rosie O'Donnell. Now, Eminem goes off on Donald Trump at a United Kingdom concert. He's in another country bad-mouthing our president, okay? F Trump. The Detroit rapper blasted Trump during 3 recent festival performances in Scotland and England and his only scheduled shows in 2017. Eminem already made clear where he stood on Donald Trump as a candidate. Now he's targeting his displeasure on Donald Trump, the president. The Detroit rapper blasted Trump during the 3-day festival, sporting Fack Trump, F-A-C-K, Fact Trump shirts at each of the shows. Eminem also voiced his vitriol during his sets at Glasgow Summer Sessions and the Reading Festival ahead of his 2002 song White America. This was put out Detroit Free Press, August 29th, 2017. Now, I don't know why they mentioned 2002 song White America, but this is what he said. Quote, Scotland might have to be our new home because profanity ain't going so well in the States, unquote. He told the Glasgow crowd of 35,000 on Thursday, quote, and I just want to take this moment out right now to say F, basically profanity. It's in parentheses. Donald Trump. So I'm going to put that on there and let you see it for yourself. I cannot even give it justice by trying to explain it to you. You got to see it for yourself. Like my friend says, she, terrified at the fact that this administration is in. Why? Why? Have you been following the trends? Have you been following those things in this arena in the last 10, 12, 15 years to show you in your intellectual, quote-unquote, crystal ball where things are going to head in the next 2-3 years? 2 to 3 years? I mean, do you understand how things are going to unfold within the next hour, within the next week or month or year, within the first term of President Donald J. Trump? Or do you know these things outright? Do you understand where these things are going? If you don't, then why are you saying anything? I'm terrified. Really? Show me why you're terrified. And then show me within that what you think is going to happen. Because I can tell you right now, it ain't. And if it does, then we the people are going to do something about it. The London Guardian is reporting on the 29th of August 2017, Stormfront, quote, murder capital of internet, unquote, pulled offline after civil rights action. Web.com pulls support of one of the oldest and largest neo-Nazi hate sites following campaign by Lawyers Committee on Civil Rights under law. This is in the London Guardian. One of the Stormfront has been described by the anti-hate group Southern Poverty Law Center as the, quote, murder capital of the internet, unquote. The group pointed out that, quote, registered Stormfront users have been disproportionately responsible for some of the most lethal hate crimes and mass killings since the site was put up in 1995. In the past 5 years alone, Stormfront members have murdered close to 100 people, unquote. As of Tuesday morning, Stormfront.org was unavailable, with the site's domain registry recording that its hosting provider, Network Solutions, had issued a hold on the address. Stormfront's removal comes a week after a letter informing Network Solutions' parent company, Web.com, of the neo-Nazi site's infractions of its usage policy was sent by the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights under law, a civil rights organization formed by the request of John F. Kennedy in 1963. The group, which has been writing to Web.com repeatedly since early July, repeated its request of the company to take, quote, immediate action, unquote, against Stormfront. There's more to read, of course. I'm going to put that on American Liberty Radio Podcast for you. American Liberty Radio Podcasts on Facebook. More sites like this, including sites from any type of international terrorist group, needs to be shut down, period, end of sentence. That's just the way it is. They need to be shut down. I just don't. I mean, I'm. Let's go to Breitbart. I don't know what else to say. I don't know what your view is on it. Critics sneered at First Lady Melania Trump's fashion choice as she left the White House with her husband, President Donald Trump, to visit Texas in the wake of Hurricane Harvey. They're concerned about how she's dressed? Are you kidding me? Are you absolutely freaking kidding me? Here's what the Salon is saying. You know, that left-wing rag mag, the Salon? You've heard of that, right? National anthem, quote, neo-Confederate, unquote, despite authorship 50 years before the Civil War. Leftist online site Salon went on the attack against the playing of America's national anthem at sporting events, calling the tune an example of, quote, neo-Confederate, unquote, ideology. The writer of the piece, Jefferson Morley, of the extremist left-wing website Alternet, began by discussing the history of Chief Justice Roger B. Taney, the Supreme Court justice infamous for the Dred Scott decision. Taney's 1857 ruling said that slaves were legal property and could not be U.S. citizens. Taney was in the news recently when his statue was removed from Maryland's State House grounds. From there, Morley proceeded into history of the author of the Star-Spangled Banner, Francis Scott Key. He characterizes the words as containing a quote-unquote neo-Confederate ideology, despite the fact that the song was written during the War of 1812, nearly half a century before the founding of the Confederacy. Morley goes on to insist that Key's lyrics, quote, with its lyrics deriding black people, unquote, became a, quote, point of pride for Southerners, unquote, after the Civil War. I'm going to let you read the rest of that, folks. That's going to be on American Liberty Radio podcast on Facebook. It's what it is, folks. I mean, I cannot even begin to tell you how incredibly stupid certain people are. For one, I shouldn't even talk about this, but Breitbart is reporting this. Kathy Griffin plots revenge on Trump. Outrage over beheading photo, quote-unquote, complete BS. Embattled comedian Kathy Griffin is speaking candidly about the shocking photo published in May in which she held up a bloodied head meant to resemble that of President Donald Trump and says she has every intention to continue to keep criticizing the president. Let me just say that she has a right to do that in any way she sees fit to do that. But she's going to cross a border, and I can tell you she's going to cross that line. In a lengthy interview with New York Magazine's The Cut, Griffin discussed the national firestorm her photo caused, and she was fired from CNN, where she co-hosted the network's annual New Year's Eve broadcast, faced a social media-led boycott that led her stand-up shows being canceled, and was the subject of a Secret Service investigation, and says she isn't apologizing and is, quote-unquote, obligated to criticize President Trump. She says, and I'm going to quote this, she told the outlet, the New York Magazine's The Cut, she said this, quote, why are people still expecting me to apologize and grovel to a man that tweets like this? She told the outlet, quote, I'm a comedian. He's our effing president, unquote. I'm going to let you read the rest of that, folks, if you would please. American Liberty Radio podcast on Facebook. I don't like her. Remember I told you there are certain people that I used to like? I used to like her. She was funny. Now I don't. She's just a pathetic human being. Excuse me. I don't know. So let's go to RT.com. See what they're saying. The Kremlin backed RT.com. Yes, it's backed by the Russian president, backed by the Kremlin. Trump says, quote, all options are on the table for North Korea, unquote. Quote, unquote, overwhelming force. South Korea conducts bombing drill in response to Pyongyang's missile test. No end in sight. Pentagon awards $727 million contract to support Afghan Air Force. Excuse me. UN sanctions no longer working on North Korea. Unilateral action worsens crisis, Russian officials say. In the UK, anti-tax avoidance Guardian newspaper sets up tax-exempt company in U.S. Woo, isn't that wonderful? Hear the sarcasm. New Tory youth group targeted by full-on social media. Hashtag meme assault. Muslims threatened to acid attacks in Bradford, forcing police to increase patrols. Russian politics. European journalist calls out Estonia refusal to accredit Russian reporters. Defense Ministry rejects claims of war games threat to Western neighbors. U.S. still unable to isolate Russia, senior senator claims. And Putin approves a major international agreement targeting cyber crime. He's working with the president of the United States on that as well. Oh, I don't know. I do not know, folks. Over the weekend, Saturday actually, there was a major riot in Berkeley, California, near, in the Bay Area. Huge, massive riots out there. And they just, California's done, folks. I don't know how many times I'm going to tell you that, and I don't know why you guys out in California don't believe that. California's done. California is no longer a state of the United States of America in terms of its politics. Now, of course, people have been calling for secession for about 2 to 3 years, long before President Trump. And they've also wanted to create another state called Jefferson in the Oregon-California border up in that area. But California is done. California is history. Politically, it is fallen. Politically, it is gone. Politically, there is no strength left in California whatsoever, because now Governor Brown has all his minions and all his people in, their offices doing his bidding. Governor Brown is a dictator of California. I don't want to hear it anymore. California has been classified as a sanctuary state. Who was it? Lieutenant Governor Gavin Newsom, who was mayor of San Francisco, kicked out the military, did all that, pissed off Code Pink, remember them? Pissed off a lot of people, and now he's lieutenant governor. So he's siding with this tyrannical bullcrap going on in California. California's done. California is history. We don't want to deal with California anymore, even though I was born and raised right there in Stockton, California. I was born and raised there. I was born and raised in California. From the time I was 15 or 16 years old, I began to talk to a lot of freaking people about what was going on behind the scenes, because certain things at that time were happening. And, I needed to know. I wanted to know for my own protection, for my own knowledge, out of my own curiosity. I wanted to know. I know now. California, as of the 29th of August, 2017, is politically castrated completely, and therefore California has no power whatsoever. The only thing that can save that state is the Patriots. Meaning the ones in California with the help of those in other states. And hey, if 100 people came to me and said, we're going to California to protect the people and to defend that state, if they wanted me to lead those 100 people, when do we leave? When do we go? I mean, come on. That's the way I am. Because my fellow Americans there, my family is in California. And therefore, I'm going to go protect them. And my friends are there as well, and I'm going to go protect them. But if they look at me and say that I'm the stupid person for being there, that it's not the way that I, say that it is, or all that, then guess what? I'm just going to, I'm sorry, you're on your own. Love you, been friends with you for many, many years, but if you're going to act that way, bye. I'm going to go protect the people that need it. So there you go. California is history. California is toast. California, it's just, you know it. You know it. I mean, that's just the way it is. I just feel in my gut, my gut is never wrong. And I know for a fact that California has a very strong patriot movement. So, where are they? Where are they, folks? Where are these patriots in California? Where are they? Like I said, if there were 100 people that came to me right now and said, we're going to go to California and we're going to protect those people of California, and we're going to, connect with the militia members and all of this, and we're going to connect with the National Guard, and we're going to do it legally and make it, the right thing to do for the state of California. If 100 people came to me and said, we want you to lead us, when do we leave? And I say that not because my home was California. I say that because I'm an American. I say that because I was born and raised right here in the United States of America. And I'll be damned if anybody domestically or internationally wants to come to this country and tear it apart. It's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. So as far as I'm concerned, people who want to continue to say that I'm doing this for ratings, or I listen to, whatever people say about me. I don't really give a crap what people say about me, because I know who I am. I know what I am. I know what I believe. I know how I stand. I know where I stand. I know what issues are important. I know what it is. And these people that say, well, I don't have blinders on, it's just my opinion. No, it's not. Then show me why you have that opinion. Show me the information why you have that opinion. If you disagree with me, show me why you disagree with me. That's all I'm asking. It's really simple. But people don't want to do that. Why? Because their excuse is, I don't have to prove anything to anybody. Yeah, you do. You got to prove it to yourself. And if you don't have that integrity within yourself to build that character in a positive way that you have, that you are, by showing people why you disagree or why you agree, either way, then I will continue to question your integrity and your character. That's it. So ask yourself this question: how do I want people to see me? Do I want them to see me as I am, or do I want to throw up a facade, a barrier, and show people only what I want them to see? I'm going to continue to question your character and your integrity. That's all there is to it. That's all there is to it. Yeah. So anyway, folks, I'm going to get out of here. Shared with you the articles I wanted to share in the first hour and never did. So there you go. So, folks, this is American Liberty Radio Network, AmericanLibertyRadio.weebly.com. You can email me at AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com, AmericanLibertyRadio@USA.com, and I'm out of here. I'm going to go away now. I'll be back tomorrow on the American Liberty Radio podcast. American Liberty Radio Network, sharing the truth one fact at a time without all the BS.